Hi guys, you're welcome to this video. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create a single page portfolio website using HTML only. We are not going to be using a CSS file or a JavaScript file. Everything we are going to be creating will be using HTML only, and this is what the outlook, the final result is going to be looking like. So you're going to be having a header, the container, then your contact information beneath the page. So let's get into it. The first thing you want to do is to open your VS Code like I have over here. So let's create a new file. I think I have one open there. So I can say port.html. So I can just close this one. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is to bring up your HTML structure. HTML. Okay. Before we continue, so there is this course we have on the channel, HTML full course for beginners. So you can check it out if you've not learned about HTML. So this video, it's a practical of what was taught in the course. So if you don't know HTML before now, I advise that you glance through the course before watching this video. So but if you understand the basics of HTML, you are good to go. So moving on, I can say hello genius ideas portfolio page. Okay, so for the body, let me zoom in a bit. So to make just a bit. Okay, so let me just say the first thing I want to bring, the first element I want to create is the header. So under the header, I'm going to be having an h1 that is going to be containing a name. So let me just use my name. Let me say Halogen portfolio page. Okay, so the first one, you can say Chris Halogen. Then you can add a paragraph tag. So you say web developer. So you can say coding enthusiasts. So now that I've created the header, let me load it on the web page and see what it looks like. So if I click on go live, okay, I'm waiting for, okay, so I have to go to the original view. Okay, so this is the original view it's going to be giving me. So bring back this. So every time I do something here, it's going to be reflected here. Okay, so this is everything I have for now. I'm going to be using internal styling, so I'll bring in the style tag. So the first thing you want to do when working on any HTML project is to style the body of the page. So the body, the first thing you want to do is to say margin is 0, padding is 0. Then I want the background color of my page. I want the background color of my page to be something like F4, F4, F4. Okay, so that is the background I want my page to have. Then let me just use Arial font family for now. So font family, I can do something like Arial. So Arial, Helvetica, whatever. Okay, so if I should save this, you can see, it has reflected. The background color used to be white, but it is no longer white. So let's continue. This is the reason why it is changing automatically is because I have this live server extension installed. So if you don't have it installed, just come to your extensions, search for live server over here. So then you install it. So let's come back here. Okay, so after doing that, I think the next thing I want to do is to style my header tag. So for me to style my header, I can just say header, then background color. It will have a different background color. I can say background color equal to 3542 4E. Yeah, something like this is fine. So the color, I want the color of the text to be white. Then I want the text to align center. Then I want the padding to be 1 em. Okay, so just follow along for now and try to just do all these things. Just follow along. So if you take a good look at what I have now after doing the background color that I have over here, you can see what color VS Code is giving me. Is this background color that is showing over here? This background color over here. So you can see the color of the text is white. Then the text is aligned center. If I should remove this and I save it, you can see that the text is no longer aligned center. So that is what align center is doing there. Then the padding is 1 em. So the padding around the header tag. This is the header element over here. If I should inspect it, Ctrl Shift I, come to elements, you can see this is the header over here. This header element over here. You can see the whole of this box over here is the header element. So this is just semantic HTML. Let me close this, then come back here. Now that we are done styling the header, let us create the container element. The container element. So let me label my code to make it more the header element. Okay, so body container. So the next thing you want to do is to, there's this VS Code shortcut that you can use to create a div, an element, then together with the class. So that is what I did over here. If you do something like div, or if you just say dot container, VS Code will automatically create it using a div for you. So just get used to your whatever text editor you are using. Okay, so I want to say do something like h2 about me. Okay, so let me bring up a paragraph tag. Then I'll say I am a professional web developer with a strong interest. One thing I like to do at this point when my text is overflowing the screen is to use Alt Z rather. So it will bring everything. It will wrap all the words to the screen. You can see it's not overflowing anymore. So at the end of the line, it will just wrap everything. So I have so everything I'm doing is on the same on the single screen. So I am a professional web developer with a strong interest in creating interactive and user-friendly websites. In creating interactive and user-friendly websites. So I specialize in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I love turning ideas into reality through coding. So I think that is enough. That's enough. So if you look at the design, I think the next thing we are supposed to put in here is another H2. So you can say project. Okay. So this project now, you can create a div tag dot project. Let me say project, single project. Okay. So in this one, you can bring in an H3 element. So you can say a portfolio website. I'm trying to create all the HTML for the body container before styling them. So, and you can see one thing I'm doing here. At the header, I'm using H1. At the container, I'm using H2. Then a div that is inside the container, I'm using H3. So these are part of the practices you need to put in place to make your website more readable for fellow developers and even search engine crawlers too. Okay, so I can say a personal. Let me just do lorem 40. It will generate random text for me. So just to save time, I don't want to have to type something long. Okay, so that is a project. Then let's create one more project. Let's create one more project. So just copy the whole of this. So, but this one I can call this one a responsive blog. So let me create another project and call it an e-commerce website. An e-commerce website. Okay. So now that we have created, assume we have three projects that we have over here. Now when you are creating your own, please make sure you write meaningful text here. Make sure you write meaningful text inside this paragraph. So now um, I can close this, I can close this, and I can close this too. So now to create the contact information, I can just say h2. Then from this h2, I'll write contact. This is how I like to create my websites actually. I like to write most of the HTML first, then I'll go and start styling them one after the other. So for the paragraph, no, this is not what I want to do. So for the paragraph, you can say feel free to contact me via. So you bring in an a tag, it's going to have a link. So you can, since as soon as they click on it, I want it to initiate an email, like it will initiate them trying to send an email. If it's on your phone, it will trigger your mailing application. If it is on your laptop, it will trigger your you trying to send an email. So you can say mail to, then whatever email they are to direct to, hello genius ideas at gmail.com. So you can say hello the genius ideas at gmail.com. Okay, so that is it basically. Hello genius ideas at gmail.com. I have to put a full stop here. I have to put a full stop here. So if I should save this, you can see how rickety everything is looking. You can see how rickety everything is looking. So you can see the feel free to contact me via whatsoever. You can see the about me, the project, a portfolio website, a responsive blog, and everything that we created. So let's start styling them. So every time I create a style, I will save it here, so it will reload over here. Then you see the effect of that particular styling there. So let's start styling it. Now the first thing I'm going to be styling is the container. I'm going to be styling the container such that the container's width will be 80% and it's going to be aligned to the middle of the screen. It's not going to be taking the whole screen, because if you look at the design, the container is aligned center. So I can do something like dot container. Now where is this dot container coming from? If you look at this body over here, this is what I'm trying to style, this container div over here. So this is what I'm trying to style, and it is a class. That is the reason why I'm using dot container. If I were using an ID over here, it would be, I'm going to be using this to select it. But since it is a class, I have to use the period, then the name of the class. So now this container, I will say the max width is what? 800 pixels. Oh, I said 80%. That's a slip of tongue. Actually, I wanted to say 800 pixels. So then the margin is going to be 0, then auto. Let me save this. Now, if you take a good look at what I'm having over here, the width, the width is now 80%, and the um, margin top and margin bottom is basically 0. Then margin left and margin right is auto. So another way to write this margin auto is to write it in two lines. Margin left auto, then margin right. So margin top and margin bottom is 0 automatically. So another way to write this thing I wrote over here is by saying margin left and margin right auto. So I'll just delete this one and just go with what I have initially. So you can see that every time I save, it will reload the page. Like I said, it's as a result of this extension I have installed over here. So that is the container for you. Now I want to style my H1. I want to style my H1. So I think this is the H1 over here. Every H1 on the site, basically I'm going to be doing something like margin top equal to 0. So for my H1, no, it should be somewhere here. H1 margin top is what? 0. Save this. So margin top 0. So you can see the effects there. So now the paragraph tag, you can see all these paragraphs I have over here, this, this, and this. So I want to give it a line height of 1.6. So I'll just select all the paragraph tags. If you notice very well, I selected this using a class, but I'm selecting all these other elements directly. So I want to apply this particular styling to all the paragraph tags I have. That's why I'm just selecting with a paragraph. If I have some specific ones I want to target, I can decide to do that with a class if it's more than one, or an ID if it is just one. So line height, line height 1.6. Save this. So you can see the line height now of everything. You can see the line height now. It is way more presentable now. That is for the line height. Now the next thing I want to style is the project. You can see this project over here. If I open a single project, you can see a project has a title and it has a description. So I intentionally use this lipsum, this dummy content, because I want to save time. I don't want the video to be long unnecessarily. So the first thing I want to add to this project div container is a border. So you can say dot project. I want to add a border, then I can say the border should be 1 pixel thick, it should be solid, and the color should be CCC. Okay, if I should save this, this is not supposed to be here. So it's almost unnoticeable. Something is wrong somewhere. So okay, I'm supposed to use the dots. Yes, I'm supposed to say dot project. Don't forget, project is not an element. Project is a class. So if I save this, you can see the border I added. You can see the border I added. You can see the border. So let's add the next style we want to apply. So the next style I want to apply is padding 1 em. Save this. If I should come back here, you can see if I should delete the padding, if I should comment it out and I save it, you can see the padding. It is not giving any padding, but if I should uncomment it and I save, you can see it is giving the padding. Okay, so the next thing I want to add is a margin. I can say margin is let me just give it a margin of 1 em, then 0. So margin left and right is going to be 0, margin top and bottom is going to be 1 em. If I should save this, you can see it is giving the margin, this margin over here. If I should uncomment it and I save this, you can see, but me adding the margin makes it more palatable to the eyes. So you can see the margin over here it is giving. So the background color of the project is going to be white. Background color, let me just say white. So you can see that, you can see the background color, you can see the effect of the background color now. You can see the effect of the background color. So finally I'm going to be adding a box shadow. I'm going to be adding a box shadow. So the box shadow, say box shadow, let me just give it a box shadow of say 2 pixels, 2 pixels, then another 2 pixels. Let me give it a blur of 5 pixels, then RGBA, let me say 0, 0, 0, then let me bring in a 0.1 here. So this is basically RGB alpha. So I'm using 0 for R, 0 for G, then 0 for A, then for the alpha, which is the transparency, it will be 0.1. So save this, and you can see a bit of box shadow that is given. You can see the bit of box shadow that it is given. So one last thing I might want to do or not do is to add a border radius to the project. Let me give it a border radius. The border radius should be something like, say, let me say 0.5 em. Okay, so yeah, so you can see this is the website, a single page portfolio website. So you can call it a landing page too. You are very correct. So you can see how easy it is to build a web page like this. So it is not something very complex, but with practice you can even do something way better. With practice, constant practice, you can do something way better. So thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.